Boy, again, McBride, to me, he looks like an NFL tight end, Don. And his final numbers weren't out of this world. I had the stat sheet in front of me a second ago, and I went off of it. But how impressed were you with him at tight end?
Well, I did see the TV copy of the Toledo game, and they really target him a lot. They have great faith in him, and they should. And I can't even argue with the fact that so many of their passes go his direction and don't go anywhere else. But obviously, over the entire season, teams are really, you might even get into some gimmick defense to take away him versus Durham to throw to some of these other guys. And I don't know that we played anything that would resemble a gimmick defense today. We certainly had an awareness of him. I know Kirk commented, sometimes you see a guy on video and you appreciate him even more when you see him from the sideline. And Kirk felt that way about number 85 today. He said, that guy's even better than we thought he was. So I don't know what his final numbers were, but I'm sure he would tell you he had to fight hard for every yard that he gained as a receiver because we didn't make it easy on him.
He is such a big guy. I mean, he's hard to bring down, and he's actually fast for his size. He runs good routes. I don't know how Colorado State got him and his brother, and they're both really solid players. Maybe the two best players on their respective sides of the ball.
Yeah, the other McBride is 0, isn't he? That's his brother, huh?
He might be. He seemed to be, whatever number he is, he was all over the field.
Yeah, there's a defensive guy, I believe. McBride is 0, as I recall.
I believe you're right. I've got it here. Yes, he is number 0. So, yeah, and he ended up with 5 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss. So, yeah, he looked good. His brother looked good at tight end. And this is a better Colorado State team than their record, Don. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you know what was interesting? Isn't it hard to imagine that on opening day, South Dakota State beat them by 19? All I can tell you is they weren't very good in game 1, and they've obviously gotten a lot better in game 3 and game 4.
Yeah, and they couldn't have been very good in game 2 because Vanderbilt is terrible.
You're right. So, you're right. 62-0 today, right?
Oh, yeah. Georgia. And again, I understand it's the SEC, but for them to lose to Vanderbilt, but again, I think it's a different team. I agree with you, and we saw that last week against Toledo. It wasn't just today. If you want to make a phone call here in the last 15, 20 minutes of our show, 860-499-3332, 860-499-3332. Ask Don a question about the game or this Iowa defense or offense moving forward. Okay. John Dodfeld did make a valid comment. Defense still only allowed 14 points. I will take that any game. Boy, at the end of the first half, again, the defense only really gave up 7 points. I mean, that interception from Spencer, which, by the way, Don, was a terrible decision. I don't understand how Spencer makes that throw on a bubble screen to Tracy when there's nothing there. Don, what did you see on that one?
Well, I didn't see all the angles maybe you saw on television, but first off, when you run that play, don't be coming – you're the outside receiver now. It was thrown to number 3, as I recall, right? When you make that break inside, if you have any reason to suspect he's going to run hard inside with you, then you got to run with speed. You got to run with speed, and you got to expect the ball under your chin, because obviously if you're running hard back to the quarterback, then obviously you got to be sure that the ball is down, because a high ball again might get tipped and, of course, might be intercepted. So the bottom line, I think maybe Tracy was a little too much on the line of scrimmage, which gave that defender a chance to barely race him to the ball and slice right through his left shoulder. And that's what happened. The ball you don't have to throw that. Pull it down and run. But it obviously didn't develop very well. And we should have an inside receiver should be in position to try to kick on that guy that's chasing a receiver inside. And obviously that didn't get done either. I know Kirk's comment was we screwed that play up in more ways than one. So that told me that there were several shortcomings on that play. But the most obvious, of course, is Spencer throwing the ball when it didn't look good from the get-go. The obvious thing he could have done is throw the ball back here on Tracy's right shoulder, throw it away from the defender again. Instead, he hit him a little bit on his left side, which gave that defender a chance to come through and play the ball.
Question here for you, Don, from Charles Pinster. How can the Hawks start more quickly on offense, in your opinion?
Well, the thing that comes to mind for me, it wouldn't bother me at all if we ran a few key breakers early in the game. Another example is an exotic early in the game. That's a good way to make another team a little bit tentative, is to hit them with an exotic that'll work. Some kind of misdirection play. We ran a nice one on the goal line for the touchdown. And it doesn't have to be anything that crazy. The first touchdown that Michigan State scored tonight against Nebraska was simply a flea flicker. It was pitched back to the quarterback. They started into the line, pitched it back, threw it over Nebraska's head. Now, it was early second quarter, but still, it's the first score of the game.
Would have been a touchdown. Should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and they did. They scored on it, yeah.
Oh, they did? Are you sure they scored on that one, Don?
Yeah, I'm sure. I just saw it a while ago.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure. So the bottom line, here's what to remember, too, about misdirection plays early in the game. Let's imagine even if it doesn't hit, it still has an effect on the defense because it slows down pursuit. Maybe you don't go for 40 yards, you go for 4. Well, at least you're reminding them, you better not forget, because there is a certain amount of misdirection in our offense. And that's going to slow down the pursuit from that point forward.
Okay, here. John made an interesting comment here. Don might remember, he says he's old enough to remember Coach Fry going really conservative on those 3rd and longs, especially with Reggie Roby.
Well, it depends on the game situation, obviously. If you feel good about how your defense matches up and you feel good about your punter, then the first thing you have to do is not beat yourself. And on 3rd and long, I think we can do better than just running a zone play. I'd like to think at least it could be maybe a key breaker again. Maybe it is a one-back run with our fullback. That didn't work today, but it worked a week ago. You remember we had 1st and goal at the 9 and ran the ball for 5 yards with our fullback. And there's no way Kent State expected that. No one did. Even those that follow football didn't expect that to happen. It certainly had all the markings of pass. It was a one-back formation with a fullback in the backfield. That's pass. Who are we kidding? But not that time. And today it didn't work, the one-back draw with our fullback. But it's still an okay thought. If you're going to take a chance on 3rd and long, you could still argue. Well, that's not a bad argument. Now, I guess the only negative, if it's 3rd and 11, you said, I think.
Yeah.
Can number 38 go for 11 yards? I understand he can run for 5.
Well, I misspoke. That one was 3rd and 9. The other one was 3rd and 11, yeah.
Yeah, 3rd and 9, that's hard. You got a better chance with 15 carrying the ball, of course. Yeah. Incidentally, didn't you notice this? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that number 21's first snap today in the game was from the -7 yard line. Is that true? I think that's the first time he was in.
Okay, I didn't notice that, but I know he didn't get very many carries today, Don. That was an observation.
Well, the only reason I noticed is the PA announcer said, in at running back now, Ivory Kelly Martin. And I remember thinking, oh my God, on the -7 yard line? Well, that's one way to show confidence in him, is to put him in when we're backed up to our goal line. And he ran the ball. Maybe both times were on that drive, I think. Because like you say, that might have been the only possession he had all day. I'm not sure. But he carried it okay. And no harm, no foul. He made it through the game without a negative play. So that's a step in the right direction.
Don, some comments here about the celebrations. NCAA needs to start understanding that they work for the entertainment industry. Celebration should be welcome. Doug Phelps-Wadley lost a touchdown on that one. That was against North Texas in 2017, I believe.
He must have been high-stepping before he scored, maybe? Is that what happened?
Yep.
Stepping before he got across the goal line.
You got it. Doug Phelps, Linderbaum was fun to watch today. Linderbaum did get beat on one play. It was a sack on Iowa, I think, was inside their own 10, and a sack that Linderbaum kind of whiffed on the CSU defensive tackle. But he played. I think he seems to be solid each and every week. Where was Lachey today? Didn't really see him on the field at all. There was one pass play that was intended for Lachey, and Lachey dropped it, Don. Yeah,
tough chances, I recall, but still it's a ball, I think, that would probably be ruled as a drop. I think they had a defender in the area, but regardless of that, an opportunity that he needs to make good on.
Roger Edwards giving us an update on Ohio State. They are leading 21-7 right now.
And I understand without the quarterback, right?
Yeah, I don't believe CJ Stroud is playing. I don't believe. Again, I haven't had a chance to flip that game on yet. Here's an interesting comment from Doug. It appeared often we expect the players to make plays after the catch instead of making the yards to gain with the pass. I don't feel like that was the case today, Don, because, again, they took a lot of shots down the field. I mean, they kind of took what Colorado State gave them, and they were doing so successfully for the most part.
Right. And I think the key, we talked about this last week, the key, nothing says you have to throw the ball beyond the chains, but if you don't throw it beyond the chains, you better give your receiver a chance to catch it and run with the catch. And that means the ball placement needs to be good. Maybe it's a route that's slanting down the field. A quick slant's a good example. Maybe it's a crack swing versus man coverage. Maybe it's thrown behind the line, but you recognize it's man coverage. And now that receiver to the side of the swing route, he's cracking on the guy that's manned up on the running back. Of course, the corner that's manned up on him has got to go with him because he doesn't know if it's a crack swing or not. And that's a good sound play where the ball's thrown not just short of the chains, but thrown behind the line even.
Don, one more note here. And then I think we can take the rest of the evening to enjoy some college football at home. The safety the safety that was not called. I don't know how that play was not reviewed, or at least the following play was not stopped to review it. To me, it looked like the ball carrier for Colorado State was in the end zone. I don't think the whole ball was out of the end zone. Of course, it has to be for it not to be a safety.
Well, that's what some people don't understand. The entire length of the ball has to be out of the end zone. And it was close. There wasn't a good angle in the stadium, at least.
Why not review that, though? Why not even?
I don't know. You're right. I mean, at the very least, it was close to being a safety, right? Yeah. So I don't know what the crew, and I don't know what the logistics are nowadays. I don't know. For what I know, I think Kirk can take a timeout and request that they look at it. Obviously, that's your way of making time for them to take a look and requesting that they take a look. I think at that point, I think that is an option for him. And maybe if the call is reversed, maybe you even get your timeout back. I'm not sure. Is that NFL or is that college?
I think you get your timeout back in college. You don't get your challenge back, but you get your timeout back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know the particulars on the challenge, but it was awfully close. It was odd to me that they'd run a play where they'd take the ball that far away from the line of scrimmage and give it to the back on the goal line. I was fully expecting a quarterback sneak on the first down. Of course, there's no guarantee there. We stopped him on a quarterback sneak out on the field. But I think in that particular case, if they would have snuck the ball on first down, they would have probably gained a yard, because I don't think we went as heavy with interior linemen as we might have on that fourth and one later in the other part of the game. I'm not sure if it was before or after that goal line play you're talking about.